Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Garage Biljon. And look what has arrived. My new 150mm jawed vise. I think this one will last a while. Let's get this built up and then the suspension work can resume. Alright, so the first job I have to do is to get this old caster block off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually try and get all of the rubber off, and then I'll make a slice in the metal on both sides, and then hopefully I'll be able to just peel it open. If that doesn't work, I might have to spring for a new A-arm, but we'll see how that goes. One down, one more to go. It actually is not rusted, which is good. So in the end, what worked the best was a 5-pound sledgehammer and this drift I've got. Alright, so what I needed to do was drill out the rivets that were in here from the factory. They are actually pushed from both sides, a metal rod or something. So I dimple punched them, drilled a hole through, and just kept on going bigger and bigger and bigger from both sides until I got all the way through. Now I should be able to lever this ball joint out of its housing. Alright, so ball joint out, and that means that one A-arm is now completely stripped of its bushings, and of course I need to do this on the other arm as well. So one down, one more to go. Alright guys, so now I've got both the A-arms stripped completely of their bushings. This will get de-rusted, and that means it's time for us to start working on these two struts. Just to make it fun, I'm going to start on the one I think is the worst, and hopefully this one will be easier. So I'm going to have to now first get the spring compressor and compress these springs down. And then I'll take off the top hat, and then I should be able to take the whole thing apart. And this has now been soaking in penetrating fluid for the best part of a week and a half. So I'm expecting that this shouldn't give me too much grief to get that nut released. But we'll find out together, I guess. Alright, so for us to take this shock and spring combination apart, I need a few things. So I bought these spring compressors on Amazon for €15. You'll need a 22mm ring spanner, and you will need, I believe this is an 8mm or maybe a 6mm Allen key. And the first thing we need to do is we need to take the pressure out of the spring. And then what we do is we'll drop the Allen key into here, and we'll put the 22mm socket on there. See if we can get them taken apart. If that doesn't work, I will use my impact gun to see if I can just loosen this nut slightly. Again, the shock doesn't have to survive, so if I need to, I'll clamp it down there with a vise and see if I can get it loose. This has been soaking in penetrating fluid for like weeks. So I'm expecting everything to just come loose. But yeah, the proof is in the pudding. Alright, so we've got the spring off and we've got the top mount off. Everything seems to be okay. There's not a lot of rust here, it's mostly just surface rust, so this will clean up quite nicely. This one I need to take apart. I've got that new rubber for that goes into here, so I just need to take this whole unit apart. And as you remember, I have, see how soft this is? This should be hard. So it's just integrated over the years, but I've got all of these things. So we'll clean that up, and let me just show you why I'm replacing the shocks on this car. And to be honest, this car didn't even drive really bad yet. It felt like it was okay, but look at this. So yeah, I think those ball steins will be a massive improvement. Basically they do nothing. Now let's see if we can get this guy off. That's going to be the challenge, I think. But maybe not. The rest of this was quite easy. So let's get going. Alright guys, this wasn't too tough actually. You can see the thread was actually in good shape, so it slides nice and easily. So this was the bad shock, so hopefully the good shock's even easier. I had to fight this a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And then this is the insert. So these have been replaced before, because this is Monroe, which is, if you ask me, one of the worst brands you can ever put into a car. But this is not original factory anymore, because factories supplied with Boja. The ball stein will be 10 times better. Let's take off the top nut, and then hopefully this one goes easily as well, and then we are done. Where's my hammer? What did I do with my... Oh, there we go. Found it. I think that's it. Is it? Yeah, she's loose. She's loose. So these weren't too bad actually. You can see this is only like a couple of minutes. I think to strip down one of these struts, maybe 15 minutes. So it's not really a big job to do. There we go. This one goes to the scrap pile for metal, and we'll get it recycled. There we go. Cool, I'm quite happy with this. Now we can get on to the next phase. Right guys, so with the struts now taken apart, the last thing I need to do is to remove the 4 studs from this top mount. The reason we need to do that is because I've got the lift kit here, and the way this works is this just slides onto there, but you can see that the studs are too short to get through here. So in this kit that I ordered, I got extra long studs, so I need to get these out, but it looks to me like they are fused or somehow spot welded or something to this plate. In all the information I found, it looked like people just hammered them out. The best way I've now found is to just beat on this with a 5-pound hammer until it lets loose. Because if you look down here, everyone tells me it's a press fit. But you can see this thing has been spot welded. So I was first doing it like this and beating it through here, but I think I didn't get enough surface tension to break the welds. So I've got a decent size anvil at the back of my vise, and that seems to have done the trick. So giving it a lot of surface area and then just beating it with the 5-pound hammer. Alright guys, so I've got all these suspension components except for the shocks and the bushes laid out here on the floor. The reason I did that is to just make sure that I've got them all complete. I've decided not to do this work myself because I want to sandblast these parts, and I don't have a sandblaster. The reason I don't have a sandblaster is because I don't have a compressor that can deal with the volume of air that I need to push through a sandblaster. So I'm going to take these parts to a sandblaster up the road, and they're going to strip them all clean for me, and they are going to give them a powder coating in satin black. Except for a couple of things. So the springs and the backing plates will be chemically stripped of paint and rust, because these backing plates, they're not completely gone, but they feel a bit flimsy, and I don't want them to be blasting this with metal grit or sand or whatever. So this will be chemically stripped, this one will be chemically stripped, and then all of the rest will be sandblasted and then given a satin black powder coat. The struts, this one and this one, will actually be, like I said in the earlier videos, will be green. I don't have a color code for them, but I'll just take one of the rear shocks along so we can match with their color of fan. And then all of these stuff will be nice and freshly restored for me to insert the shocks and the bushes and so forth. What this means though is that this is the end of the video, because all of this is going to take 2 weeks to do. So I've got some other things I need to do on the car, and I think what I'll start doing is I'm going to start dropping the transaxle at the back, taking out the torque tube, and start working on the clutch in the next video. And then hopefully by the time we've got that clutch all sorted, these things will be back from powder coating, and then we can start building up the front suspension again. This is taking much longer than I thought. I think we've been busy with this for like a month already. So bear with me guys, and if you like my videos and if you like my channel, please subscribe and leave me comments. I do read them. It's because of the comments I received that I'm actually now taking these things away for powder coating instead of spraying them with my standard, which is Hammerite. So until next time, goodbye.